ask one?
Sure.
In Mark Noll's article, which is, as you published it, is a really fine study of why we Presbyterians didn't theologize very much. He uses Francis J. Grimke as one very important exception, Presbyterian clergyman who's African American. You used a quote from H. Garnett, which is superb. Is there a possibility that African Americans got it, African American Reformed people got it, and white Reformed people didn't, in terms of complicity and the universality of sin?
Well, I'm trying to remember an article. Maybe my colleague Jack Lapsley said they can help me with this. There's the Christer Stendhal wrote a piece about maybe 30 years or more ago, in which he said something about the Bible is not for success. The idea, the thesis of it was that the Bible is essentially written from the point of view of people who are suffering in some way or another. Right. And if you read it from that perspective, right, you're much more likely to get the original reading. And African Americans were reading it precisely that way. Let me tell you a story that I came across recently. One of the little holes I'm filling into my history. I was looking in the past week at the first African American student to graduate from Princeton Theological Seminary, Theodore Sedgwick Wright. And it was in 1828, quite early. Now, Wright, all of his career professed, so far as we can tell, we don't have a whole lot of his writings, but he professed a love of the seminary. And when he came back for an alumni event, somebody, apparently it was a university student who was there, attacked him physically, yelling a racial epithet at him. Fortunately, a seminarian pulled him off. Now, how was he going to respond to that? He chose to respond by writing a letter to Archibald Alexander, who was his professor, but it was an open letter, published in the press, in which he essentially explained that he was nonviolent, hadn't done anything to provoke this, and professing his great admiration and how much he always felt he was among this. He put it, fathers and brethren, when he came back to Princeton. But do you know where he had this published? William Lloyd Garrison's The Liberator, which would have been a publication only slightly above Satan in the view of most of the Princetonians, the old school Princetonians. So here you have a guy, he's being loving, he's respectful, and at the same time he's saying, I don't buy, just by where he publishes this letter, I don't buy your understanding of what the gospel is.